this is Randy Cairns of Autonomy Corporate Marketing, and I'm here today with David Jones, the CEO of Autonomy's data protection business, as well as our emerging technologies. So David, why don't we start with just kind of an overview on Autonomy's data protection business. What does that mean for us, and what does that mean for our customers?
Sure. So data protection is really three products in the product portfolio. Data Protector, which we just introduced a new version last month. Live Vault and Connected. Data Protector is a server-based data protection product that backs up files on premises. Live Vault does the same thing but backs it up to the cloud. And then Connected is an endpoint data security product that can back it up either to the cloud or on premise.
Okay. So I'm sure that there's lots of commentary and discussion amongst your client base around what to do with things like big data, mobile, security. Obviously those are huge trends taking place. A lot of businesses are moving their IT operations to the cloud. So what does that mean for your line of work with data protection?
Well, they're much bigger data sets, but the cloud really changes everything. When you think about the cloud, you think about data protection. And data protection really is backup and recovery, right? So it's all the key assets of an organization kept safe in the event of disaster or some other unintended consequence. But the cloud is much more than just another place to put it. It's so different, in fact, if you think about how data moves across the WAN or across the LAN. It's sort of like people think about it. It would be like putting wings on a car and saying that it could fly. You have to architect it differently from the get-go.
Right.
And that's what we do different. We've done it this way for the last 8 years. It's what we were purpose-built to do. So we've got lots of experience with it.
Great.
And in fact, Live Vault, our server data protection, we just announced today past 10,000 customer installations, active customer installations, which, if not the leading product in the market, which we think it is certainly among the leaders in the market.
Okay. 10,000 customers. That's super impressive.
Yeah.
All right,
it's
so
terrific.
So what is it about Autonomy's data protection business and Live Vault that customers choose to go with us?
Well, so a couple things. First of all, as I say, it's the cloud, right? It's where we back it up. How you do that technically is very different than an on-premise offering. But it's also very different when you're choosing a vendor for the cloud. Things as basic as how you hire, how you train, how you manage your employees, because you're doing this on behalf of your customer set. So we manage today over 50 petabytes of data. It's the largest private cloud in the world. And so in doing that, you can afford to invest in technologies, people, and processes that just wouldn't make sense for other companies, private companies, to do.
Okay, great. So you mentioned the 50 petabyte private cloud. You mentioned kind of the broader HP and Autonomy portfolio and offering. How does data protection fit into kind of a larger IT environment initiative? Because I've heard you speak about this. It's quite interesting.
Sure. So what we talk about is something called meaning-based data protection. So when you think about data protection, what you're thinking about are, there's really three things you make decisions around. There's backup windows, recovery time objectives, recovery point objectives, and there's lots of other things. But those are the three things that really float to the top. So the challenges there are the world being awash in all this information.
Right.
So Autonomy's product set is really built on top of a technology called IDLE, Intelligent Data Operating Layer. And what that does is understand at a very intimate level information. And what we do in turn is to write on top of this infrastructure, and then we're able to put that to work to understand what's being backed up in an organization and give IT better ways to make decisions about what gets backed up where, when, how often, and if something bad happens, how it comes back to you, so how quickly you can get back up and work.
So give me an example. What do you mean by when you say understand what's in the information, the meaning of the information? What can a business then do with that understanding?
Well, so here's the really cool thing. You can do all kinds of things, right? Here's the really cool thing, and what's very, very different about what we do and what everybody else does. Backup has really been an application that produces an encrypted blob that sits out on the network somewhere, either in the cloud or on-premise, sits out on the network somewhere. Because we understand through the backup process that information, we then turn that into an information asset. So for instance, at an endpoint security product like Connected, if a company needed to, implement legal hold and prevent something from being changed because of some legal or regulatory requirement, you could do that on the backup copy of the data set, never having to have physical custody of the device.
Great. Well, David, thank you very, very much for your time. And for more information on Autonomy's data protection business and to read the 10,000 Live Vault customer press release, go to autonomy.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.